In this video, I wanted to give you a side-by-side comparison of the latest version of WordPress that was just released on the 4th of July. That's version 3.2, comparison to the prior version, or at least ways kind of sort of a prior version, that would be 3.11. Now, before I do that, one of the new items with the WordPress 3.2 release is that they say that for the first updates, and I'm assuming they mean all updates afterwards, after 3.2, that they will only be updating the files that have changed with each new release instead of every single file in the WordPress installation, because that's one of the reasons why I really jumped on the bandwagon whenever I found out what a child theme was because if I were to do some tweaks to the default theme, because actually I've been using the 2010 theme for a lot of my main sites for, well, since it came out, because it's cool, it's strong, it's almost virtually unbreakable with any of the other plugins, because all the plugins that are developed with the default WordPress theme in mind. So if there are issues with a theme, it's usually because it's not a default theme for WordPress. Anyway, my point though is that if I make some tweaks, for example, to the width of the sidebar over here, because for some odd reason the fine folks over at WordPress did not realize that a majority of, say, banner ads were 125 pixels wide, and if you double them up side by side, you need a sidebar width of at least 250 some odd pixels, and because other standard banner width might be 250 pixels wide. And if you do not do any tweaking, well, this is kind of what happens. The side by side gets cut off, and this is all you get. Or as you can see how it's kind of cut off here, this is a 250 pixel wide banner ad. So I make my default theme customizations to where I have at least a 250 pixel wide sidebar, and then every time I update from 3.0 to 3.1 to 3.11, each one of those updates would result in this type of a fiasco. So then I went to the child theme after I learned how to make one, and it was a dream come true. Now, with this latest release of WordPress 3.2, they say that this is never going to happen again, unless, of course, there is a change to the file that I use, in this case, a style.css and the page.php file, that those will not change. So I'm going to go ahead and put this to the test to see if it happens with the 3.2, not just the uploads after that, but with this particular one. So let's go ahead and make this right. I'm going to pause the video here for a second, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a cosmetic change here, and this is because I tweaked the page.php and the style.css file. So this is what I was referring to earlier as far as having the minimum width of 250 pixels. I actually think this is like 280 or something like that. But anywho, so this is how it's supposed to look. So let's see if it looks this way after I upgrade this to the 3.2, because then I'm going to be comparing the 3.2 version, that'll be this site here, to this site here, which is currently 3.1.1. And I'm just basically going over some of the cosmetic changes that have taken place and some of the major changes that have taken place. But first, let's go ahead and upgrade this guy to the 3.2. Let's go ahead and close this out. Go in here and update. Now, oh, and by the way, before you make any updates, this is just should be standard operating procedures. You should always do a backup, just like it tells you right here. Backup of your database and files. So let's just pretend that I did that. So as you can see right off the bat, it tells you that the browser that you're using is not up to date. Yeah, that's fine with me. I'll stick with the tried and true. But as we can see right here, oh yeah, let's check out the page first before we go any further. And it did not break anything. So right off the bat there, we're on the right track. So evidently in the upgrade from 3.1.2, which is what this was, to the 3.2, the page.php and or the style.css has not had any changes, so those files were not affected in the upgrade. Very cool. Okay, so now then, that's one of my major pluses for the upgrade. Another is, if we look at the admin bar here, let's check out the admin bar here. The admin bar, by the way, was brought to us at 3.1 3.0 didn't have this, I don't believe, but 3.1 did. But as you can see here, this is fine, but it's kind of limited in what you have to work with here. In other words, like under appearance, you only have these two drop downs. Over here under, let's just get this guy out of the way. Over here on the 3.2, under appearance, you can tweak any one of these from the admin bar. Under add new, you've got all of these here. This is a couple of plugins I've got here, but basically you can add new post, new page, new media, new link, new user, new theme, plugin, so on. Whereas under the old one here, under add new, you only have these two options. Appearance, these two options. So you can see you're kind of limited there. As you can see here, dashboard is in the drop down under the user's name, whereas here dashboard is part of the admin bar now. So that right there is one of the cosmetic differences. Now as far as the big changes, let's head under the dashboard here. One of the cool changes that I like is under the add new post. Go to add new, go to visual, right here you've got this little button that has the arrows. I guess that's arrows. If you click on this, or if I hover over this, you'll see that it says you can toggle full screen mode. Pretty cool. So whenever you're ready to write, you can have all this clutter gone. You just start typing. This is called the just write mode. This is pretty cool though. Let's go ahead and exit full screen. That's the big change as far as the adding new post. Another is the dashboard has changed as well. A little bit. So you can see right up here versus right up here. This is the older version where there's not a whole lot of differences, but it does seem a little bit cleaner in the look. You've got some other minor cosmetic changes over here as well. Another big thing that the fine folks at WordPress are touting as big changes is the speed. Now I'm not sure if that speed is for the user. In other words, this loads up faster, I'm allowed to type faster, I can publish faster, or if it's for the visitor where the actual site loads faster, which is a major SEO plus, or both. I'm not really sure. I don't think I found anywhere where it was either one of those, but I think that in either case, whether it's one or both, that speed when it comes to WordPress or to any website for that matter is a good thing. Another major change is the look, because with the 3.2 version they've also introduced us to the latest default theme, which is 2011, because they have told us that they're going to come out with a new default theme each and every year. So with the new default theme, where are we at here under appearances? Here we go. Under appearances, go to theme. Get out of this page here. You can see right here the options. If you go to the 2011 theme here and activate it, well, if you preview it first, everything looks pretty cool. It does give us more space up here, and I haven't played with this much to know if you can add a lot more text up here or not. I do know that the text is an option where you can toggle it on and off, but let's go ahead and open this up. Now it does seem to break my sidebar over here, so I'll deal with that. Let's activate this, because whenever you activate the 2011 theme, you'll have more options over here under the appearance subpanel, like theme options. You can now toggle from the normal white background black text to black background white text, and you also have the option of tweaking the link color, where by default it's kind of a blue color like most links are. We can select this by going to the color wheel and changing it to whatever you want. Pretty cool. I imagine there are folks out there that have that as a need. You also have real quick like a default layout that you can change from content left sidebar right, content right sidebar left, or content all the way around, one column, no sidebar. Because used to in the 3-point version you had this as a theme option in our pages. If we go to pages, I'll show you that here in a second, but let's stick with the 2011 theme for the time being. Now if we come on down here to the header, you've got additional options here where you did not have in the 2010 theme, where number one, the header sizes have increased slightly, but still increased, and you've got more options under the pictures. I think these are pretty cool too. And you can also upload your own, and with this option you can randomize through each page these particular images that you have installed here. So if your theme is, or if your website is around, say, the niche of photography, well, you can upload some of your own photogs and have it randomized through those. To pretty cool stuff. And you can always remove this down here, display the text. Currently it is. You have the option of no, and you can also opt the color of that text too. And if we come over here to the header image, or to the theme area here, under header, just to compare the two, you see here, that's the size of the images you can work with here, and you can see the options available to you here are much different than those available to you here. Now then, as far as the 2011 theme versus 2010 theme, another plus is that it's fully HTML5 compatible, meaning that on your iPhones, your smartphones, your tablets, you don't have to worry about having particular plugins now to make it viewable on those items. With the 2011 theme, it's automatically going to resize itself so that it looks cool and it's not all broken in half and they have to scroll from left to right. Whether it's on a phone, your iPod, or a full-size tablet, you're good to go. Another major plus for the 2011 theme. Now, another change is under posts. You also have varying types of posts now. In the 3.1 up to 3.2, you have the standard, you have the aside, and I believe the gallery. And in 3.2, they've added these other ones. And these are just ways in which you can make the actual post look pretty cool, depending upon how you want it to appear to your visitors. Let's open this back up here and I'll show you what I'm talking about as a quick comparison. This is a normal post here. So let's go ahead and change this from a standard to a status. Like in your Facebook status, it's going to have an image off to the side. Let's go ahead and update this. Come on over here. You see right now it's just the standard. Oh, and this here also for a comment, you can see how that's changed a little bit. Okay, so let's refresh this and see what the status looks like. So if you've got your image, or if you've got it set up for a gravatar or whatever, then your image would show up here. Pretty cool. Thank you very much for watching this video on the side-by-side comparison between 3.1 and 3.2.